So hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new, hey girl, my name is Lucy. I always say to stay subscribed. We have a good time on this channel. Today's video is a very special video to my heart. It's a topic that I've always talked about in small doses, in bits and pieces, every single time in different platforms, whether it's TikTok or Instagram. I've always talked about loving yourself, respecting yourself, building a relationship with yourself, understanding yourself, the awareness of oneself. Finally, we're going to talk about how to build that relationship with yourself and why it's important to build that relationship with yourself. Now, without further ado, let's just jump right into the video. You've heard a lot of times people say the relationship you have with yourself is important. People talk about this so much, and I'm really happy that over the years it's become so popular for people to express how self-love and self-awareness has changed their lives. I am so happy that so many people are beginning to shed light on the importance of loving yourself, respecting yourself, putting yourself first, taking charge and taking control of your life. I love that a lot of people are talking about this, but all the time people give you the advice. People don't tell you why. I will explain to you the importance of loving yourself and how you can love yourself. One of the biggest reasons why I personally love the relationship I have with myself, and I thrive to keep that relationship going, I work on it on a daily, it's a priority to me, is because it determines everything else in my life. And you're wondering how and why. Now, the reason why is because life is experienced through me and not outside of me. So I have to be good. I have to have a relationship with myself. I have to know myself. I have to know what I am doing, what I like, how I operate, how to treat myself, how to calm myself, how to motivate myself, because all these life experiences is through me. You cannot know how to handle life challenges, experiences, and just the beauty of life itself if you don't know yourself, if you don't have self-identity, if you don't know what makes you tick, what makes you alive, what brings you joy, how to take care of yourself, how to pamper yourself, how to love yourself, how to treat yourself, how to be lenient with yourself. If you don't understand you, nothing else matters. If you cannot handle yourself, you cannot handle anything else. You can't handle anybody else. To have better relationships with everybody else or anybody else, you have to have a good relationship with yourself. I've said this countless times on this channel. To be able to pour into somebody else's cup, your cup needs to be overflowing. But if your cup is empty, what are you giving? Have you ever thought about that? One of the things that we focus more in life as human beings is relationships we create with other people. We prioritize those relationships. But have you ever stopped for a second to think about the relationship you have with yourself? Everybody has a seat on your table. Do you have a seat on your own table? Before you think about everybody else, what about you? And this is where most of us miss the plot, because majority of our problems lies within. You wonder all the time, oh, why can't I just keep somebody in my life? Why is it not working with people? Why can't I just seem to be comfortable and relate with people effortlessly? It's because you cannot relate with yourself effortlessly. You've not mastered the act of loving you, communicating with yourself. So how would you know how to communicate with somebody else? If you don't have good foundation, everything else is miserable. It is completely useless. Prior to working on myself, I felt like I've always been on autopilot. So I was just moving and doing and leaving, but I wasn't living in the moment. I did not really have a full sense of what was happening around me. I will do things. I know I'm doing things, but you're not really living life. Like, you're not 100% conscious. I've been at that point in my life for years. But once I got to the point of self-realization, everything changed. My life changed. I saw myself on a completely different way that I'd ever. In fact, I wasn't even seeing myself before, because I was going to say I saw myself in a completely different light. I wasn't seeing myself at all before. At this point, I got to really see myself, my beauty, how I'm structured, how I am. I didn't take note of those things. That's what really happens where you completely neglect yourself. It's very easy for you to sit and spot weird vibes from somebody, weird energy from somebody, how somebody's moving, how somebody's doing stuff. But how are you doing stuff? People are often so blind to their own actions and their own ways of doing things, but it's very easy for them to be the master of somebody else's life, but their own life, they're completely clueless. A lot of people think it's a walk in the park. It is not. You hear a lot of times, and which you know perfectly well, that relationships take time, okay? Relationships are hard work. It's pretty much the same thing as a relationship with yourself. It will take a lot of self-reflection. It will take a lot of digging through baskets and dumps of emotions and past mistakes which you will leave behind, but you would take the lesson that you need to learn from that situation and leave the rest behind. But just to give you a heads up, it takes time, it takes self-reflection, dedication, consistency. It takes a lot of focus to build a relationship with yourself. The same level of commitment that it takes to build a relationship with another human being, the one that you want so much desperately, that's the same level of time and dedication, commitment that it would take to build a relationship with yourself. Let me give you my first tip, how I got started. The first thing I started from my book. When I tell you this was a full-fledged plan that was written down and was executed step by step, girl, it was really that deep. And the first thing I did was get to know myself. This is easier said than done. And when you say get to know yourself, some people are just like, okay, where do I start? This is how you start. I started with understanding the position that I am currently. So looking at my life as it is, where I am, what I'm doing, the space I'm living, the things around me, were they my choices? So I started by analyzing the life I live at this very moment, understanding if I was actually the one that made the decision to be at this point with the things that I'm currently doing. It doesn't matter what it is. So the house you live in, the car you drive, the way you look, how you smell, the outfits in your wardrobe, every little thing I started to question. Were this my choices? Were this my decision? Is this what I really wanted? Do I truly like this? That was a question I asked myself for different aspects of my life, different things. I'm telling you, to the tiniest thing, like my kitchen spoons, my plates, what I ate for lunch that day. Did I truly want that? Did somebody influence me? To be honest with you, what you don't realize, especially when you've not done work on yourself, when you don't have a relationship with yourself, majority of the time when you do things, the decisions you make, they're typically influenced by the people that matter the most in your life. Unconsciously, how you behave, what you allow, how you live your life, how you build your character traits, your mindset. Unconsciously, you don't know most of the time. Sometimes you actually seek out for someone to always make decisions for you, but because you're used to that lifestyle, you're not well baked in you as a person, you don't know who you are, you conform or you mold into somebody else's way of living, somebody else's characteristics, somebody else's mindset. And it's typically the people around you that influence you the most, like the people that matter to you the most in life, people that you spend a lot of time with. They might not necessarily tell you, do this, do that, I want you to do this. No, but because you don't have a mind of your own, you don't know yourself, you just live like them. So that's the reason why that should be the first place you look at. The things that you're doing, the life that you're living, where you are, the job you are, your career path, all of it is actually what you want for yourself. Is that where you saw yourself? Is this the life you dreamed of? Were these decisions actually made by you, or were you influenced by people or things, society around you? This is exactly where I started. So it was like a deep dive. It was an audit, basically looking at different aspects of my life and what truly I liked, actually getting to look at things. Because when you have not built a relationship with yourself, when you're in that autopilot mood, when you're just living life and not necessarily being present, you're not really looking at things as you should. You're not really analyzing things as you should. You're not really paying attention to things as you should. You're not really doing your research about things or on things as you should. You're just doing what is generally accepted and what is good, what's making everybody happy at that time. When you start this journey, revisit that. Is that truly what you wanted? Like the decision you made, was that truly the decision that came from you, your heart? Is that what your dream life would entail? Then when you do this, a sub under this first tip is to start spending a lot of time alone. I have preached about this. I have spoken about this. I have told you guys, I have pulled you guys when it comes to spending time alone. Isolation helps in situations like this, especially if you need a fresh head. You need to think about your life, your situations, be alone. That's also when you know if people typically influence the things you do, the decisions you make, the life you live. When you spend time alone, you know if you can stand alone or if you cannot stand alone. Majority of the time, you're tested during that period because you want to call somebody like, okay, somebody needs to come and start thinking for me. No, you need to be thinking for yourself, okay? So when you spend time alone, you know if, oh, I really wasn't living a life for myself, because you'll be tested, you'll be tried, you'll be bored, you'll be left with your own thoughts. You'll be forced to make decisions by yourself. You'll be forced to actually live life, like open your eyes and see things, do research. You feel emotions when you're alone. And that's the point of doing things alone, to understand all the aspects of you, to appreciate all the aspects of you, for you to actually see yourself. Because when you don't have a relationship with yourself, you don't see you. You don't see how beautiful you are, how talented you are. You don't listen to your voice. You don't listen to yourself. Think. The things that interest you completely take the back seat. You see what you like. You see what relaxes you. You see what puts a smile on your face. You look at your skin. You see what needs to be fixed, what needs to be done. You see how pretty you are, how gorgeous you are. You look at your body and you're like, oh my God, I look good. Or you could see, oh my God, I let myself go and I need to go to the gym. You see everything that needs to be fixed, adjusted, and appreciated. Travel alone, go and see a movie by yourself, choose a movie you want to see, start a new project, fix something in your house, do things alone. Okay, pick up a new hobby, a new skill. Take some time to yourself, and trust me, you will start to recognize different aspects of yourself that you never thought existed. Now, the second huge thing I did when I started my journey was to get on my notes app. Actually, I don't even think I wrote on my notes app at this time. I think I actually had a book that I wrote on. Now I use my notes app for everything. If you like to physically write things down, you have a journal, that's also fine. If you want to create a vision board, do that. But at this time, what I did was I listed what I wanted in a life partner. Hear me out. Every single thing I wanted from a life partner that would make my life complete, you know, that would give me that fairy tale dream life, that would make me feel like just accomplished, fulfilled, the best feeling in the world, but I wanted from a partner, right? I wrote that down. When I tell you I wrote it down, I was 100% descriptive to the tiniest thing. How I wanted to feel, how I wanted the person to treat me, how I wanted them to communicate with me, how I wanted them to show up for me in different aspects or different situations. I wrote them down as if I was manifesting them. So I wrote them down as if like I already had it. I like that. My partner XYZ XYZ, which that's a very good way to manifest in your life. But that wasn't the essence of writing it down, which I'm going to talk about right now. The essence of actually writing it down was to make sure that I start the journey or the action of giving myself those things or making myself feel that way, so in return I can attract that. Do you get what I mean? You cannot be happy in a relationship with someone that gives you those things that you cannot give to yourself. If you cannot give those things that you require from a partner to yourself, you will be fully dependent on that person for happiness. You'll be fully dependent on that person for all those things. God forbid tomorrow it doesn't work out between you and that person. Your life is snatched out from you. You feel like a huge part of your life has completely gone away, has died. That's how people become stuck in situations they have no business being in, because the things that they get from that relationship, from that person, they cannot give themselves, or they feel like they cannot get it from anywhere else. That's the reason why anything that you require in a partner, you should be able to give to yourself. You should be able to fulfill yourself in that way. And yes, everyone was a partner that is obviously way wealthier than them financially and all of that, and can provide a bit more, but that does not mean that you wouldn't be able to provide for yourself in a way that actually makes you happy. It just means that yeah, they would give you a bigger house, but you can't get yourself a house that would make you fulfilled and accomplished in life. But yeah, your partner can give you much more of a bigger space that would make you happy. But what you can provide for yourself, or the space you can provide for yourself, will equally make you happy. Yeah, it's not going to be like a luxury space, but you're going to be happy and fulfilled in life. And I'm telling you all aspects. So what you should do when you're writing this out is to break it down into categories and start working on them accordingly. So physically, mentally, mindset, self-care, start working on it individually, but for yourself. One thing that happens when you're on this journey, making sure that you fulfill yourself, you love yourself, you're in a relationship with yourself, naturally, you don't play with yourself. Anything that is going to take out from your peace, anything that's going to disrupt or interrupt your peace, honey, you will eliminate that thing in a quick second. You're not going to play with your time. You'll be more strict with who comes into your life, who puts words into your ears. You have boundaries, strong boundaries. When you start to do the work on yourself from this angle, you will start to manifest exactly that in another human being that would come into your life. And this is not just romantic. The quality of friendships you have completely different. You will have fewer friends or fewer people in your life at that stage. That's a sign that you're doing something good, because the few people that will come into your life are quality and match up to your headspace, your mindset, and the work you're doing on yourself at that very moment. Third huge step that will change the course of your life, help you feel more at peace, is having compassion for yourself. Having compassion for yourself is also being gracious or graceful with yourself, and as well as being lenient, gentle with yourself. Look, I understand that life is happening, and it's happening so fast. It's moving so fast. A lot of people seem like they're getting ahead in a snap of a finger. Everything seems to be going on like this, right? And it just kind of seems like we're not catching up, or things are just running ahead and we're struggling to meet up or to catch up, right? In reality, that's not really the case. We think and we see things in that way, but that doesn't mean that that's what's exactly happening. So because we see things in that way, we tend to be hard on ourselves when we make mistakes, when we get it wrong, or when we make bad choices, right? And we criticize ourselves so much. We dwell on that critic. We dwell on that mistake, that setback, that wrong choice, that we lose time. And that has an emotional effect on us that we don't see. Because when you keep calling yourself stupid over and over and over and over again, you begin to believe that you're stupid. You begin to believe that you don't know what you're doing. You begin to believe that you're not made for this. Mentally, you start to register. And that's the reason why I always say, even to myself on a daily, be careful the words you say to yourself. Be careful of how you speak to yourself. And next time, when you want to say certain things to yourself based on a negative outcome that you must have caused, I want you to stop for a second and ask yourself, would I say these things to my best friend or somebody that I really care about and respect, especially respect, right? Even if I wanted to communicate to them that they were actually stupid for making such a choice, would I do it in this way? Once you ask yourself that question, you realize that you're putting people above yourself, and you should stop doing that. The same level of grace, which I've said many times on this page in different videos, the same level of grace you extend to people, learn to extend to yourself. Be lenient with yourself. Be gentle with yourself. You need to understand that you are doing life for the first time alongside everyone else. Nobody had a manual when they were being born or created. Nobody was given a guide like, oh, this is what you're supposed to do. It's your first time doing this, and you're doing it alone as well. You've never been this age before. You've never been in this phase before. This is all new to you. There's always a learning curve and a room for growth in every situation that you go through, whether or not it's a good one or a bad one. There's always room for growth. You need to remind yourself that every time I flopped or messed up in this area, but what's the lesson to be taken from this so that I don't repeat the same mistake again? That's how you should treat majority of the situations that you come across. In fact, all the situations. It doesn't mean you're not going to feel sad when you actually make a huge mistake. You will, but don't dwell on that sadness, because the reason why it went the way it went, it's usually a lesson for you to take home and implement in your life moving forward. Be gentle with yourself throughout this life process, because it is a process, it's a journey. Nobody has it figured out. Everybody's winging it. Everybody is trying to get their lives together. And you understand this for other people, understand it for yourself as well. You are human, and humans are imperfect. I'm not saying for you to sit here and act like a victim or make excuses for yourself every time you mess up. No, I'm not saying that. When you make the same mistake once, twice, 3 times, it's no longer new to you. So I'm just putting that out there. You can fail as many times, you will eventually get it. So you have to be lenient with yourself either way. There are 4 major things I want you to take out of this particular point. First thing, be mindful of how you speak to yourself. The words that come out of your mouth, how you address yourself, the words that you use to address certain situations that concerns you, because your tongue is powerful and your tongue carries a lot of weight. Second thing, practice empathy for your choices. Make sure that you have the same level of empathy that you have for other people when they do wrong, when they make mistakes, right? Have even a higher level of that empathy for yourself, because you are equally as human as they are, imperfect human beings. If you can be lenient with them, if you can understand, be level-headed to reason with their choices, then you can equally extend that for yourself. So stop being harsh on yourself, because you deserve grace. Third thing, let go of your past and the mistakes with it, okay? Stop dwelling on the things that you did wrong before. This is a brand new journey for you. It's a brand new chapter, it's a brand new story. Embrace that it's new. you and understand that from this point on, you know better and you will do better. Fourth thing, learn to forgive yourself. Forgiveness as a whole, we find it really hard, especially when it involves somebody else. Having to let go of that hurt and that pain and that betrayal, it's quite hard. Forgiveness is one thing that I have learned over the years. Forgiveness isn't necessarily for the other person or for the situation, but it's more for me to be able to find peace, for me to be able to move on, for me to be more happy in my life and not hold on to things that weigh me down or things that sets my thinking back or my mindset back. When I remember a situation, I don't want to feel a heaviness in my chest. I want to live my life not holding on to things that do not serve me. And forgiveness gives you the opportunity to do so, to have a freer mindset, a freer headspace, to live your life knowing that, there's better for you ahead. When you think about certain situations, you understand that it went sour, but you don't really feel that wave of sadness or that wave of anger. And holding in anger is a really bad thing. It sets you back spiritually. And if you want to be able to have a clear head, you want to forge ahead, you want to have better things in life, let go of all that nonsense, because it really doesn't add any value to your life. Just practice forgiveness, especially to yourself. The most important relationship you should have in your life is the relationship you have with yourself. And if you have not thought about building a relationship with yourself previously, I just hope this video sheds some light on how important building that relationship with yourself, understanding yourself, is for you in your life. Now, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Follow me on my socials, Instagram and TikTok. I'm going to have them linked below. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Thank you guys so much for watching the video, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.
Those of you that are listening in your car, at your job, you at home, I don't care where you at. Turn this up right now, cause we're about to go in. Hey, so everybody say